So the last piece we've really been letting go into that river of life. And perhaps just having a fresh experience that I'm not separate from that river. That I'm not this little guy on the bank trying to hang on as the river flows by, that I am the river. So a lot of times in life, it's pretty obvious how that river is flowing, and we just flow with it. And there's not really any appearance of a choice or a decision, just life is moving and it's happening, and it's simple. And there are some times, maybe it's a fork in the river, and the river could flow this way, it could flow that way, and there's at least the experience of choosing. And I wanted to offer a specific tool for those times. You know, for those times when, for whatever reason, it's not clear how life wants to flow. You know, maybe we're offered an opportunity to move to Portland, and we feel maybe divided, you know, moving to Portland or staying in Eugene. Or maybe we've been with a partner for a long time and it's kind of seeming like it might be time for a change, but we're not quite sure. Or maybe we get offered a job and we kind of think maybe we should take it, but we're not quite sure. You know, there's times when it's not as immediately obvious or apparent to us. And so I developed this guidance process over the last, I guess, 30 years. It's just a really simple way of discerning, choosing. And ultimately what it comes down to is really feeling how love wants to move, or life wants to move. And what I found is that if I'm willing, if I'm open, it's not hard to tell. That the only thing that can kind of complicate the process of feeling how life wants to flow is if I have an attachment or resistance. So the process deals with that also. And the reason I like this, I know there's lots of ways to get guidance, and some people like pendulums or muscle testing, and the reason I really like this process better is it really takes me deeper into myself than I would go on a pendulum test or pendulum or muscle testing, or a lot of those kind of techniques, because I'm really just feeling deeply in my body how life wants to move. And so to me, this is not only a process for guidance, but it's also a process for freedom, because I get to really deeply feel the difference between the movement of love and the movement of fear, and more to, through that awareness, to choose to give myself to the movement of love. So I'd like to lead us through this process for guidance. And first, I'd like everyone just to think for a moment, is there any situation in your life where you have a choice? And the process is really most powerful if it's a choice that's really up for you now. It could be a little choice too. It doesn't need to be an earth-shaking choice. It could be just you're invited to 2 different parties tonight, you're not sure which one to go to. But it's really most effective if it's something that's really now. If it's something that's in the future that you don't really have to decide now, you can do it kind of for practice, but knowing that there's really time to there's time to choose. And you know, what I've noticed is that it's possible either to rush a choice or to procrastinate on it. Like sometimes if we're uncomfortable with uncertainty, we may try to get clear on a choice when it's not really time. I mean, sometimes I find that really what's most natural and what's really the most grace, the most freedom, is in being in the mystery. And so sometimes people can, out of being uncomfortable being in the mystery, you know, make a choice when it's really premature. And other times, some people may have a fear of making the wrong choice. So it may actually be time. It may be ripe to choose, but they'll keep postponing because of fear of getting it wrong, or fear of, you know, closing off an option. So part of the thing with guidance is really knowing. And sometimes there's outer circumstances to make it clear. Like if the party's tonight, you know, sometime between now and when the party starts, you got to make a decision whether to go. some invitations, there may be external circumstances that make it clear, and other times it may be less clear, more fluid. And just for you to really be honest with yourself. Is there really more freedom? Is it really more the natural flow to rest on uncertainty for a while, or is now the moment for clarity? So you can't think of a choice that's really, really current. Choice for now, for something that's coming up soon, or something that's, if you want to do a major life choice, something that's kind of up for you now. And if you really can't think of anything that's current, you can use a past choice for practice, but it's more powerful and more real if you take something that's up for you now. And so just think for a moment, is there a choice? And by the way, this is not an open guidance process. This is not like, God, I don't know where to go, where should I go? That's different. I call that visioning. It's just, people probably use the words differently. But to me, guidance is either I'm going to do A or B, or it could be C or D or E too. It's not limited to, but you have two or more concrete options. And it could be doing X or not doing X, but you can really get down to two or more concrete options. And since we're doing it with a group, we're only going to work with two, but if there's more options, you can work with that on your own. So think of a choice. It's not so much an open-ended, whatever God, but it's, I'm going to do A or do B or C. Can everybody think of a choice like that that's current for you? Anybody having trouble coming up with one? Okay. So why don't we put aside our food for a moment? If you're still eating, you have a chance to return to that. We'll wait for you unless the animals eat it first. And so the first step in the process then is to get to a place of openness to the answer being whatever it is. And so two easy ways to do that. One is prayer, to ask. Just ask to be open to clear guidance. Open to really feeling and knowing how love wants to move, how life wants to move, and to let go of any attachments or resistance or concepts or anything that could possibly block you from being open. So you just ask to let go of that, knowing that as we ask, so it is given unto us. And as the breath comes in, we feel the answer to our prayer, the answer to our desire. We feel the energy of openness. The breath is charged with the energy of openness, willingness to see, to feel, to know. And as the breath goes out, it just naturally carries away, carries downstream out of our bodies. Anything from the past that could possibly block us from clear knowing, now in the present. We just feel that happening naturally, effortlessly, as we've come into that space of openness. And by the way, I do have this written up and I'll email it to everybody, so please don't feel like you have to take notes on the process. That'll take you out of it. I'm happy to email it to you as long as you give me your email. So from this place of openness, the next step in the process is to establish a reference point of what it feels like to make a choice from that place of just knowing, that place of pure yes. So remember a time you made a choice in the past and you got to a place where you just totally knew what was the movement of love, what was your heart's desire, what was God's will, if you like that expression, what was your highest option. It doesn't really matter how you conceptualize it, but you felt that feeling of yes, this feels right, I am doing this. And you just got to a point where you just felt it from your whole body. It just felt great. You just knew that I'm doing this. And in retrospect, you feel great about that choice.